Well, howdy ho, Stampers. Deb Valder here, your Fun Stampers Journey Coach, and today I'm going to show you how to do this adorable little box. It's a new box die from Fun Stampers Journey, and it's called Card Carrier Die Set. It's just absolutely adorable. It's got two little handles that you can make with it. It looks like a little paper sack. But what I really want to focus on today is the technique I did for this. It's a different way to mask. I think it's an easier way, and I think it's a nicer way to mask than just using a Post-it note. So that's what I'm going to really focus on. The cool part about this little box, though, is this card is a card in a bag in a all-in-one felt swoop. So I can take this off. All I did was add this little piece right here, and I have a little card carrier. So you have your gift, which you can put in like lumptious little treats, or you can take and you can put in gift cards, whatever will fit inside this little sack. It's adorable. But anyway, that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. So let's start with the card. The first thing that I'm going to do is show you what I used for my mask. I used what I call contact paper, but this is removable contact paper, and I just think it works so much better than a Post-it note, and you get so much in a roll, so it will go on forever and ever and ever. So it is just clear matte, transparent contact paper. This happens to be the Contact brand. I'm sure there's others out there, but it has to be removable. It can't be permanent. All right, and you can just find that in one of your local box stores. Let me show you some of the other things that we're going to use. So this is the box die that I'm talking about, or the little bag die that I'm talking about. It's called Card Carrier Die Set. I'm also going to use the new Uplift Die Set, also from Fun Stampers Journey. And then the two stamp sets that I'm going to use are the Let's Eat Cake. Now this is the one I used on the card that I showed you, but today I'm going to try something a little bit different. It's called Create a Dot, and it's just another one of our background stamps. So you do want a background stamp for the other part of this. All right, so those are some of the dies and things that I've used in this. Let me just show you a couple of other examples. So the card that we're going to do, like I said, is really adorable, and we're going to focus on this. Now this happens to be that Uplift, which is the balloon die, and then I'm going to use, for this one I actually used our little turtle die, okay? It's a whole set. It's got a stamp that matches with it, but you want a die that you can actually recognize, so you can actually recognize that that is a turtle. For this one, we used just our circle dies. And then for this one, I just used one of our rectangle dies, and instead of using a background on this, I used watercolor paper and used some of just our regular stamps. But it really does work nicely with our background stamps. So that was one of our old background stamps. Just love it. And like I said, you can use whatever die that you want. We're going to be using the balloon die right here. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I ran this through my Amaze machine with the die, okay? Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you know which side you want this on. So what I do, and I'll show you what I mean by that, I used it with the words facing up so that when I put this on my paper, I know that the balloon is going that way. If I did it this way, okay, and I ran it through my machine, and then I went to put it on my paper, the balloon would be on the opposite side. It sounds like it's kind of elementary, but you'd be surprised at how many people have that reverse image because they cut their die out backwards. So all I did was I cut this from my contact paper. Now don't throw this away because you can use this as a mask going the other way, all right? But for this project, we're going to use this full sheet right here. And the reason I like to use a full sheet is because it actually stays on the paper better, and when you start using your coloring media, you want to make sure that you don't get it outside the die that you're using. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the cover sheet right here. Now this is what I was telling you if you wanted to do it backwards, okay? So I'm going to take this off, and this one is going to be going the opposite way, and I wanted to just show you what I meant by that, okay? So I cut it out so it looked like this, all right? But then when you take it off, it goes backwards. So just be mindful of that when you are when you're cutting out your image, all right? And this one doesn't have to be anywhere perfect because it's just going to be a balloon that's hanging in the air. All right, so here, all I did was put my contact paper on, make sure it's nice and secure, but remember, it does come off. Now, the reason I like to let it hang over is because while I'm working on it, I can actually put it onto my paper right here, and it's not gonna move. And that's kind of important when you're, well, that is really important when you're doing your coloring, because you wanna make sure that none of it goes underneath it, and you want to make sure that it doesn't move as you're doing it. All right, so here is this. Now for this project, I'm going to use our liquid colors. All right, you can also use your pan pastels. You can use your re-inkers. I'm going to actually use our liquid colors. Now let me just show you what a couple of them look like that are different. So this was one that was done with liquid color. All right, this one is one that was done with our, these are done with our pan pastels. And this one was just done with our re-inkers. Now the reason I don't like the re-inkers as much as I do the pan pastels is because they do bleed a little bit, and that is because they don't dry as fast. All right, so just know that when you're working with it, you can do one color and then stop, let it dry, then go to the next color, stop and let it dry. But with our liquid colors, because they dry so fast, it's just absolutely beautiful. See that? Just pretty, pretty, pretty. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the piece that we can get rid of that piece right there. We're going to take this piece right here, and we're going to take an old block, and I'm just going to add some of our color to it. So this one right here is our Catalina Splash, and I have Watermelon Fusion, and I have our Lemon Drop, and you only need a dollop of this. All right, unless you're going to do many, many, many of them. But you want to take your little daubers, and we're going to just soak up all of the ink that's there. So I'm going to start at the bottom. I like to have the picture in there to show you what we're working on. I'm going to start at the bottom with our Catalina Splash, and I'm just going to suck up all the ink that's on my block, and I'm going to start off the paper and just kind of go on the paper. So I'm going from lighter to darker, and as I go up, I'm just going to kind of feather it out just a little bit to give it that lighter look. All right, so it blends nicely with the next color. Alrighty, so there's that one. That one's all done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top piece, which is the Lemon Drop, and I'm going to soak up all that color, and I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. Now you'll notice that I'm doing the middle last, and the reason I do that is because of the feathering. You don't have to, I just think it's easier. Now what we're going to do is take our Watermelon Fusion and just do the middle part of it. See that? Isn't that so pretty? There. So that alone is absolutely gorgeous. And I just did that with our small daubers. So we'll get those out of the way. We'll get our block out of the way, and we're done with that. Now, literally, this part of it's done, but you can't take this off. The reason you can't take this off is because we have to do our background stamp. Now, remember, I'm going to do one a little bit different. I'm going to use the Create a Dot on this one. So what I'm going to do now is to lift this up, and I'm going to take and put it on here, okay? So I'm going to take my Catalina Splash and just ink this up. And then add this piece to it, all right? Making sure that you get all the way around the whole balloon, and then we're just going to lift it up, and this is what it looks like. All right, now you want to be very careful because this is wet, all right, and it doesn't dry because it's on this non-porous paper. So we're just going to lift this up. Now what you can do is you can literally take this, wipe it off, and keep reusing it if you want to. Okay, so here is our little balloon right here, and now all we have to do is finish it up. So I'm going to bring in my Catalina Splash. I'm going to bring in the Happy Birthday from our birthday set, which is the Let's Eat Cake, and that's where I got that piece from. So all the rest of the pieces pretty much are going to be from this little stamp set right here. So I'm just going to ink that up and stamp it down here at the bottom. I have a couple of more tricks I want to show you, but let's just get this one done real quick. Okay, so that's on the bottom, and as long as I have this out, let's do the inside of our card right here. All right, so I'm just going to take a piece of our cardstock, and I'm going to do the inside right here. So let's do the Let's Eat Cake. And it's nice to have a bunch of these made up at the ahead of time, so that when you need a nice little gift card holder or just a little thing, to put something small in, you have them already made. You don't have to get out all your supplies. I'm only going to do part of this right here. And okay, so we got the stamping all done there. The coloring is all done because of our little technique. And then we can just start putting our card together. So let me just show you how I did that. I'm going to take my layers. And then we're going to do it for the same for the inside here. I love layers. The inside of our card. We're almost done with the card part of it, and the actual card box, the bag, is just as easy. Okay, and then we're going to take and add this to the front of our card right here. Okay, and add this little piece. Alrighty, now I have a few cute little techniques for you. Alright, so there's that part of it. Now what I need to do is to just add my balloons, which I pre-cut. And we're going to add those with our foam squares. Alright, so now what we're going to do is add those to our little card right here. Okay, and you can just add them. I like to add things that go off the side just a little bit. And then here is our yellow one and our pink one. I love to show the little ends here also. All right, so now I've got a few, this is another really cute little thing right here. So I just made little strings hanging from our balloons right here. But what I wanted to show you is how I made the curly ones. So I took our twine right here, and then what I did was I took and wrapped it around just a skewer, and this is a fatter skewer than your normal average skewers are, and I just wrapped it around, and then I took just everyday, let me just show you, I just took everyday hairspray, and then I sprayed it and I let it dry. So now, I just taped it on here, so now when I go to take it off, it stays curled, and I can use as much or as little as I want. Isn't that adorable? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these to my little balloons. So I'll make each one of these curly just so that you can see how easy this is. And like I said, it's just done with hairspray. And believe it or not, it stays that way. So let me just get my, my little journey dots here, because I want to take and put them on here to hold these. Okay. And let's see, I'll take this one, and this one won't be that big. And you can just unravel it just a little bit. Here we go. Alrighty, so I'm just going to open this one just a little bit. But it's nice and stiff. See, isn't that so cute? Alright, so there's that one. And you can kind of mold it whichever way you want it to go. And then I have some left over for other projects. So that's why I fill up a whole skewer with them, because you do have to have drying time. And see, you just open it up, and it stays that way. Okay, here's this one. Alrighty, there we go. And that one's going to go right there. Underneath that one. Okay, and then we need a long one for this little guy right here. So I'm just going to go down to about right there. And cut that off, and you see how much more I have left for another? You can even stick it back onto your skewer and let it stay there until you're ready for the next one. I love, love, love doing that. And we are almost done. You can pull it as much or as little as you want. Now I just want to make a little bow for that one too, so there we go. Isn't that so cute? Okay, so now our card is done except for our journey glaze, all right? And all I do is put our journey glaze on there. Yes, these definitely need little bows on them. But for right now, I'll just leave it the way it is. And I'm going to work on my little bag. That's how fast this card is. Couple of cute little techniques in there. But let me show you how we make our bag. So I'm going to grab the pieces that I got it from. Now this has two pieces to it. It has the actual bag or sack, and it has the little handle. So you need 2 of these and 2 of these, and we're going to take and just quickly put it together. So I'm going to use my white liner tape because it's a more durable, sturdy tape. But before I do, I want to take it, I want to do all of my creases. And I'm going to do that with my crease tool. Okay? So that you're going to kind of accordion this right here. So I just, I folded this one over and then this one up. Now you don't want to go all the way down because this is going to be our little flap right here. Okay? So, and then this one is going to go in toward the inside of the bag. And then these little guys are going to go up. These are our flaps for the bottom. Okay? Almost done. Okay, and then here's this one. So this one is going to go this way. And this one is going to go, whoops, this one is going to go this way because that's the outside of the bag. And this is going to be the little crease on the inside of it right there. Okay? And then this one's going to go toward the inside. All right, so you have identical pieces. All right. Now, when you go to put these together, what you do want to remember is that this little piece right here is going to go on this accordion, and this little piece is going to go on this accordion. So you just have to remember that when you're doing, when you're putting it together. But that's pretty self-explanatory when you put your tape on and stuff. All right, so now what we need to do is to add our tape. So we're going to put 2 pieces on each little part of the bag. So, and I'm putting it close to the crease line so that it has good coverage. All right, and then this one, so that one's going to go on that one. This is the inside of the box, so that's going to go on this side right here, close to the crease line. Actually, this one's going to go close to the outside. All right, just like that. All right. And I love this tape because you can literally just rip it. All right, so this one is going to go close to the outside, just like that. And this one is going to go close to the crease line. Alrighty. All right, so there we have that. Now what we need to do is to grab our bloom tool, and we're going to burnish this and take off the tape. So here's one. All right, so now the way we put this together is to take and we're going to take this piece right here and add it to this piece right here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally line up, I'm going to start at the bottom and line up this line with this line right here. So adorable. And then just line it up, going all the way up the box. All right? And then we're going to do the same on this one. We're going to lay this down and we're just going to fold this over, and they should meet nicely. All right? So when you go to open it up, it looks like a little gusseted bag. Now before I do the bottom, I want to take and I want to add this little piece. Now this is not a part, this piece right here is not a part of the box or the bag. I just added it. So this piece right here, from here to here, let me show you with my ruler, it is about, it is exactly 4.5. So what I did was I made this 5 inches long, and I scored it at 1/4 of an inch on this side and 1/4 of an inch on this side. So let's just grab our white liner tape, and we're going to put a piece right here close to this seam. Actually, it fits the whole thing. All right, and the same on this side. And this is going to be our little pocket so that when we put our card in, it sticks to the front of the bag. And the reason I like to do that is because when you give something like this, where do you put the card? Okay, do you stick it inside? Do you tape it to the outside? This is just such a perfect way to add a card to a box. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to get it close to the top so that it doesn't hang down. And I'll show you what I mean when I do this, but you really do want it to be close to the top of the bag or sack. All right, and there's that one right there. Okay, so there is our little holder. I'm going to just call it a holder, right? And all we have to do now is to finish the bottom of our box. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and fold the 2 outside pieces in, and then just determine this is the front of our box. So we're going to take and put the white liner tape on the front of our box so that our seam goes toward the back. And I'll show you what I mean as soon as I get my tape on here. All right, so let's add our tape. and burnish this and close up our box. And then we are done, except for our handles. We got to put our handles on. So let's just grab some more of our glue dots. Now you can take and put the handles on with just about anything. You can take and put them on with our cute little brads. You can put them on with some of our buttons. But what I'm going to do, because we're not going to see these for the most part, is I'm just going to use my little journey dots right here. And I'm going to put them on the back of each one of these little handles. All right, so now what I'm going to do is add them to our box. So I'm going to add this one to the back end of the box like this. Okay, so now I need to put the last handle on, and I'm going to do that with my glue dots again. So I'm going to take and put these on the right side. And then to make them so they're completely even, if I just line these up perfectly, just like that, and then take my front piece and just push it down, they're going to line up perfectly. So the front and the back work together nicely. All right, so that is our box. And now what I'm going to do is to add a little bow. So I just made a bow out of our Amazing Stripes ribbon. And I thought it was just such a pretty color. So I'm just going to take and add that with my journey dots, and I'm going to add 2 of those to make sure that it holds really well. All right, so there's one. And where's my second one? Here it is. And we're going to add that right up here on the handle. And then all I have to do now, isn't that so pretty? And now all I have to do is add my card. So I'm going to bring my card back in, and like I said, I'm going to add the journey glaze to this right here, and then our card is done. So let me just bring back in my other box that I finished previously. I'm going to add my card to it, and see how important it is to have this little slider piece right up here close to the top, because then it won't go any farther. If I had putting it down here, the card would actually go, it would go past this right here. So by doing it up here at the top, I can center it perfectly, so my presentation to whomever gets this is going to have such a really pretty piece. And then here is the original one that I did. I added some tissue paper to this one instead of a bow, but you can decorate them any way that you want. Like I said, I really wanted to highlight that little technique right there, but there's a lot in this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. You take care, have a great day, and I'm so happy to have done this for you. Bye-bye.